Hello, welcome to Pre-Technical Mathematics. This lecture video is on System of Linear Equations, Chapter 6, Section 1. At any time stop or pause the video to examine the material more clearly. We'll get started. Let's take a look at a couple of equations in regards to graphing first. We can solve two equations by graphing, or we'll eventually learn the addition method and the substitution method. This section concentrates on some of the graphing, so let's review the equations. M stands for the slope. When we're doing a graph, we have a line, and that line has a slope. That line can have 2 points on it, an X and a Y. And then we have our second point here, an X and a Y. This can be referred to as X1, Y1 and X2, Y2. When we want to determine the slope given 2 points, we put it into this equation. Y2 minus Y1 over X, that should be X2 minus X1. We can also use this formula to determine the equation for the graph. The slope-intercept equation is this one. You have a value for Y. M is the slope, X is the variable, and B is referred to as the y-intercept. So that in this graph would be this point right here, where the graph intercepts the y-axis. So if this were a 1, it would be right here at 1. Alright, let's continue. The angle point formula. If you're given an angle of the slope, you can find the formula for the graph using this equation. And in this case, you'll use the trig formula tan. If we have a graph of a horizontal line, this is parallel to the x-axis. Let's take a look at it. Here's a horizontal line. That's our graph. The slope is 0. There's no slope. If we have a vertical line that is perpendicular to the x-axis, that's perpendicular, the slope is referred to as undefined. Alright, let's see how these work with some problems. Alright, here we are with 2 points. We can find the slope. Remember, let's put some labels up here to help us out. X1, Y1 and X2, Y2. Now let's get our slope formula, because we probably don't remember it. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Just a little side tip. This is referred to as the rise over the run. You may have heard that term before. Rise because it's in the y direction. Run because it's in the x direction. So that may help you to remember it. Okay, let's put some numbers in. M equals Y2, which is 1, minus Y1, which is 7. X2, which is negative 2, minus x1, which is 4. That gives us negative 6 over negative 6, so our slope is 1. Alright, let's try another one. Here's one. Let's just go right into our formula this time. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that becomes a 2, and this becomes a negative 3 plus 3, which is 0. When we divide by 0, that slope is undefined. You cannot divide by 0. Alright, here's another problem, and this time we're given the slope and we're given 1 point. We have to use the point slope formula. So let's write that down. Y minus y1 equals our slope times x minus x1. So let's get y minus, this is our x and our y, 1 equals m, which was negative 3, times x minus a negative 6. Okay, we'll do a little algebra. Let's just write this out first. We'll take it step by step. And then we get y minus 1 equals negative 3x minus 18. Okay. You could actually leave it in this form. You do not have to take it all the way out to here. Okay, let's see what we've got next. Two points, and we want to find the point slope formula. So first, in order for that point slope formula, we needed m. So first we have to take the 2 points and find m, the slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus a negative 5. So that equals negative 12 over 6. That equals a negative 2. Okay, so we've got our slope. Now let's go to our point slope formula. We'll write it out one more time. Okay, now let's get our numbers in there. M was negative 2. We got that from here. X minus a negative 5. Okay, we just have to do a little algebra. That would be y plus 6 equals negative 2 x plus 5. And you leave it in that formula. That's the point slope formula. Okay, remember the other formula I gave you using the tan in order to find out the point slope formula. This is a little bit cumbersome to work with, but when you have numbers like this, you want to use that tan formula, and when you're given an angle, that's alpha. Okay, so let's first write that equation again. y1 plus, it's a little bit different, x minus x1, and then we have tan alpha. So let's put our numbers in. Y equals y1, which is negative 1.7, plus x minus 5.3, that's x1, tan negative 75.8. And don't forget that negative. It's going to be very important for you. So when we do a little bit of our algebra, we have negative 1.7 plus okay, I am not a professional, so when the phone rings, you hear it. So that's what we got. Okay, let's continue. X minus 5.3 becomes a negative 3.9520 x plus, if you take the tangent of negative 75, you'll find on your calculators that you should get a value of 20.94. So what we end up with, combining terms, we'll take this term and add this term. So we come up with a negative 3.950x plus what we have left, 19.245. So you see we have it in the same format, mx plus b, and here is your m, very difficult to work with, and your b, also very difficult to work with, which is why when we're given a point such as this and an angle, we use this different formula, and that's how to work with that. You won't see too much of that. Okay, we're ready for you. Try this one. Find the slope, m. Stop or pause the video to try it, and then check your answers in the course information. Here's the next one. Same thing as I did in my example. You're given the slope and you're given a point. One more. Here's that crazy one that is a little bit difficult to work with. Use the formula with the tan alpha in it. You'll bring it all the way down to the slope-intercept formula. Okay, now we're going to work a little bit with the slope-intercept formula. What was that formula? Let's remind us. Y equals mx plus b. This is what we're going to use in order to graph. So we can enter in some values here. We have m as -4, x, and then b as -2. That's all we want at this point. Let's keep going and building on this. Alright, now we want to get this into the y equals mx plus b format. So we have to do a little manipulation in order to do that. Let's take our algebra step by step. We'll put -3y equals, we put 2x to the other side of the equal sign, plus 9. So now we have to divide the -3. So we have a -2 divided by a -3, negative divided by a negative. Plus 9 divided by -3 would actually be -3. So let's see what we have. M is 2/3. That's the slope. It would be a rise of 2, a run of 3, and we'll see how that comes into place when we get into graphing. And the y-intercept, known as b, is -3. Alright, so it's just a little algebra manipulation. Oh, this looks nasty, doesn't it? Well, we need to put it in the tangent formula. So let's see. Let's keep our 1.7y equals -4x, and we'll move that 9.2 to the other side, so we'll end up with a positive 9.2. We have to divide by 1.7, so run that through your calculators and you should get a -2.35x. Then run 9.2 divided by the 1.7, and you should come up with 5.4. Okay, if we want to find the alpha, remember it was actually tan alpha equals y. So in order to put this, find alpha alone, we have to put the tangent on the other side. So it becomes the inverse tangent, and you're going to look for the tan -1 button on your calculator. It should be above the tan button. So let's continue this. It would be tan -1, and the negative 2.35. So what we're doing is we're converting the slope into an angle instead of an XY format. So that angle will become a negative 66.97, almost 67 degrees. Okay, so I think we've looked at all the possible ways. Let's take a look at some graphing now and what we do with this. Oh, me and my straight lines just don't cut it. Okay, y equals negative 7. Well, if y equals negative 7, there's no slope. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If there's no slope, it will be a horizontal line. No matter what the x value is, the y value is negative 7. There's no slope. Alright, let's get us one with slope. This is number 30. This one is for you to try. Put it into the y equals mx plus b format. Stop or pause the tape and then review the course information. Here's another one for you, just like the example. You need to do the algebra to turn this into y equals mx plus b. Now, after you change this over to the other side of the equal sign, you'll end up with 4y. Don't forget that you need to divide both terms by 4. So you'll end up with a fractional slope. Okay, and here's the last one. Just convert this negative 6.31, I'm sorry, the 1.9, the slope, the 1.9. Convert that into an angle. Use the tan minus 1 format. Okay, this is the end of this video lecture on 6.1. Thank you.